Hi everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode of WotC Academy, I will be starting off a new series of videos which will cover how to play various Tier 10 tanks. Today's episode will be about how to play the STRV 103B, which is a very unique Tier 10 tank destroyer. This tank is unique as it is the only Tier 10 TD with a 105mm main gun and the hydro-pneumatic suspension. This makes the STRV 103B one of the most difficult TDs for players to play, as they often do not fully understand the capabilities and limitations of this STRV. So we will be covering the armor and layout of the tank, its speed, and how to set up the STRV in regards to equipment, crew skills, and ammunition. And we'll close off with a clip of the STRV in its preferred situation. So let's get started. So starting off with the armor, we can see that the STRV 103B is a pretty weak tank in terms of armor. With 71mm being the thickest part of the tank, this means any gun with 120 plus millimeters will have the potential to overmatch your armor. Luckily, the light blue armor, which is a maximum of 51mm thick, is protecting the actual important parts of the tank, such as the gun, ammunition, and crew. As you can see by this X-ray photo that I have just put up here, all parts of the tank are located in between the tracks. This means that the actual profile that the enemy has to hit and damage you is almost half the actual size you are presenting them. So if the enemy hits anywhere in the spaced armor section of the tank, which is represented by this light purple that you see, the tank will absorb and block these shots, as they will have done no actual damage to the tank itself. Now, in regards to the heat shield here at the front, this really is only effective against heat rounds, as the name describes. Any other round will still have the chance to penetrate the tank or deal splash damage. So all in all, do not depend on the armor to save you. Now, the next important part about the tank is its speed, as it was designed to be able to take a shot or two, then quickly retreat to another position. This means that the reverse speed is almost the same as the forward speed, which is around 45 kilometers per hour. As you can see by these two clips, the speeds are almost the same. This means you don't need to turn around to escape, and you can keep your front facing the enemy. Now let's talk about the playstyle and how to set up this tank. Then we'll take a look at the STRV and its optimal game. Now, because the tank is very weak and small with an accurate gun, you want to set up this tank to sit back and snipe the enemy from afar. To do this, you want to equip your tank with the following equipment: gun rammer, camouflage net, and binoculars. This will increase your rate of fire, concealment factor, and boost your view range. I have also farther focused on boosting my concealment and view range after acquiring Sixth Sense and Brothers in Arms by focusing on concealment and vision skills and perks like camouflage, green thumb, muffled shot, situational awareness, and recon, and not in that particular order. I also added camouflage paint to my tank as well for the added concealment bonus. Now, before we get to ammunition, I would like to point out that it is entirely possible to play this tank aggressively. It is not recommended, however, as all you are doing is making it easier for tanks to hit your weak spots, as you would be closer to them, and, if it's easier for you to hit their weak spots, it will be the same for them. You also want to avoid cities or urban areas as much as possible for the same reason, but also because it's easier for tanks to track and get around to your weak, unangled side armor. Now, as for ammo, it is entirely up to you as to how much of each round you want to have, but for my personal preference, I have 25 rounds of standard, 22 premium rounds, and 3 HE for lightly armored tanks. I have recently noticed that I do tend to burn through my standard rounds near the end, so I recommend a ratio of 32, 15, 3, or something along those lines. Now that I have discussed the setup of the tank, let's take a look at the tank in action. Now, here I am in a game on El Alamein. What I'm showing you here is how you are able to effectively make use of the STRV's hydro-pneumatic suspension, which allows me to depress the tank 10 degrees. I'm also showing how effective the STRV's concealment can be with all these bonuses applied, as I'm able to comfortably sit back and snipe the unspotted T-28 prototype, as well as the T-57 Heavy that will appear here shortly. There's really nothing else much to say right now. As you can clearly see, I'm just able to sit back comfortably, unspotted, and I'm just able to continuously put rounds into this T-28 prototype. And unfortunately, there's nothing he could have done about that. The T-57 Heavy appears here. He was behind a building, and I was trying to keep watch on 3 separate fields of fire. The 57 Heavy goes up the hill and presents a target to me, and I just put shots into him. That one didn't penetrate. I do end up actually getting spotted by an unspotted tank that had better vision than what I currently had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up. I'm going to, lower my profile just a little bit, try and bounce. You can see that his 120mm gun did not penetrate me. I then actually get hit by an unspotted Jagdpanzer E100. It just goes to show that anything that over 120mm could overmatch your armor, and you can clearly see that over half my health got taken off. I dip down behind the ridge to get unspotted, and then I just creep back up into place. You can do this. It's risky though, because a really smart player will know that if will know that someone could dip back down, get unspotted, then come right back up into the same place. So some players will shoot twice in the same location. So I took that risk of the Jagdpanzer E100 taking another shot at me, and I probably could have died if he did. Now the T110E3 crosses again over in the open there, and I'm able to put some shots on him. He's too distracted by the tanks that he he's fighting, so I'm able to just freely put shots into his rear. Now, the current setup that I have right now that my tank is positioned in is that I have it in such a way that I'm able to protect the side of my tank from getting shot in the side, but at the same point in time, I'm able to shoot the T110E3. I tried to sneak a shot there onto the rear of the E3, but it didn't work out. Instead, I try and focus on a different target, as I figured the E3 was going to die soon like he did. The UDES gets spotted right there in the middle, and I just put a shot into him. I knew that he was going to escape before I could get a second shot, and I also noticed that the Jagdpanzer E100 was looking at me, and I really did not want to take another shot from him. So I faced my armor towards him, and I back down off the ridge, and I just hide my profile from the Jagdpanzer. As you can see, the Jagdpanzer takes out the TD next to me, and now it is just a game of me having to wait for the Jagdpanzer to expose a weak part of the tank. I take out the top of the building there, so that way I had more room to try and get a shot on, and I'm just going to wait, and this is where patience will pay off. I actually am able to put a side shot into the side of the Jagdpanzer E100, and I believe that is the only shot that I'm able to get out on the Jagdpanzer the rest of the game. Beyond that, nothing else much happens. I did end up staying here on this ridge the entire game, but as you can see, it paid off for me with 5,504 damage dealt, and I only blocked 400 damage. It just goes to show that, you can block some shots, but at the same point in time, your tank is still weak, and any tank with a really big gun is going to overmatch your armor. And that concludes our video today on how to play the Stritzvon 103B. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and if you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. I also would like to ask you to please comment your thoughts on this video, so that way I may know your impressions on it going forward, so that way I may know how to improve the video, what I'm doing right, wrong. I'd like to hear your input on it. So if you like to help improve the quality of these how-to videos in the future, please feel free to leave your thoughts on it. Until next time, this has been Darren of WotC Academy.